Chocolate chip cookies are those typical American cookies with bits of chocolate in them. They're a real treat for everyone, both young and old, and there's always a good reason to put them on the table. They've been around since 1930 and they're still everyone's favourite. There are many different sorts of cookies. I've got 3 ready for you. The traditional cookies with pieces of dark chocolate, and the more healthy ones filled with blueberries. Or, if you want to go totally wild, airy white chocolate cream-filled cookies topped with lemon frosting. More than 80 years ago, the chocolate chip cookie was invented by some lady called Madame Wakefield. Not that important to us right now, because all we want to do is to get started on these delicious American cookies. The foundation is fairly simple. I start with Stork, which is ideal for baking, already at room temperature. And because not everybody can remember to take it out the fridge a day ahead, 10 to 20 seconds in the microwave can also make sure the Stork is nice and soft to work with. I need 200 grams. 125 grams of vanilla sugar. Now, as you can see, there are still some vanilla pods in there. Now, you could, of course, also use normal sugar and maybe add some of the vanilla to the recipe yourself afterwards. Now, after the sugar, we can add the flour. I use 250 grams. And I also add some baking powder, about a spoonful. And then the one thing that turns this recipe into a real cookie recipe, and that is oat flakes, 75 grams or a spoonful of oat flakes. Now, we might know them from our cereal breakfast or from the cookies themselves. And in this case, when using oat flakes yourself, they prove to be a convenient ingredient as well. Now, we're almost done. You just add 1 egg. And then we can start mixing. A kitchen robot or a mixer is, of course, an option, but I'd rather stick to my principle that baking cookies is manual labour. So I'm going to wash my hands and get started with these 2. There you go. Now that's what I call baking. And gradually you can see the Stork mixing with the sugar, the flour and the oats until it becomes cookie dough. I can already hear you think, cookie dough without chocolate? That's not chocolate chip cookies, is it? Well, you're absolutely right, of course. We can add our final ingredient. What I have here are the real so-called chocolate chips. Small pieces of chocolate with good heat resistance, making sure you can really see every separate bit of chocolate. Another option, obviously, is to chop up a normal bar of chocolate and add that to your dough. About 100 grams, but feel free to choose your own amount of chocolate in the cookies. And no need for restraint here. Yep, look. The basic dough for our chocolate chip cookies is complete. With our oven preheating at a temperature of 180 degrees Celsius, the finishing line is in sight. All we have to do now is bake our cookies. For that, we need a baking tray, and just to make sure, we'll put some baking paper on it. I use this small trick of spreading a bit of Stork in every corner to make sure the paper isn't going anywhere, and a large sheet of baking paper on top. Unlike other cookie dough, we don't need to cut or squirt the dough onto the tray. No, we can easily mould them onto our baking paper. The traditional method uses 2 coffee spoons to put the dough in its place. That is obviously an option. But I'm more into efficiency, and that's why I use the ice cream scoop. This is a small one, but I'll show you. It makes it very easy to make perfect blobs. And it shows that I slightly exaggerated just earlier with my 2 spoons. The size doesn't really matter. as long as all the blobs roughly have the same dimensions. That, of course, is to make sure they all need the same time in the oven. By using this ice cream scoop, there's no doubt that every portion of dough is identical. The cookies will then settle till they reach that perfect round cookie shape. And it's only a matter of providing enough space around the blobs. And like this, we can start our own cookie factory. I actually had an idea to give our chocolate cookies a personal twist. Well, I thought about using little wooden skewers. And we can add them already before baking. And it's enough just to attach the sticks right in the middle of each blob of dough. And that way we have chocolate cookies on a stick. And with the pointed side down, I can later on present the cookies in a creative way. Our first batch is ready to hit the oven, and they're all set for some heat. I believe 10 minutes or so will do, well, just enough to make them golden brown. We can use the cookies on a stick to organise something like a chocolate fondue. With our cookies in the oven, we have time to prepare the chocolate sauce for the fondue. And the rule here, as always, is the most simple dishes are the best ones. So my recipe for chocolate sauce is shortly heat 100 millilitres of milk. Once that's hot, I turn off the stove and add chunks of dark or milk chocolate, well, depending on your taste, of course. But my choice would be dark chocolate. Yep, and in this hot milk, I can just toss little small pieces of chocolate, and in no time, the heat of the milk will automatically turn this into a delicious chocolate sauce. Just in time, because our cookies are ready too, and the smell is just lovely. Now, they look great. They're crispy, golden brown, and still a little bit tender in the middle, mainly because of the oat flakes. Now, have a look at this. And the ones on the stick turned out well too. And I'll let them cool for, I'd say, about a minute. And maybe we should immediately put it to the test and get our chocolate fondue to join the party. Something makes me think that this will be a combination made in heaven. There we go. Have a look at that. A sort of, how could you describe this? Oh, it's impossible. I think I'll just have to taste it, and then my face says it all. Anyway, I hope yours have turned out well too. Cheers.